This is all messed up. Oh, perfect, almost. Oh. Oh, brilliant. I think I fixed it. Marcia. I know you never heard that before, ever. All right. All right. Marcia, can you hear me? Jose's on too. You are muted, my dear. I'm unmuting you.
He's trying to.
I have unmuted you. How do you feel?
Hi. I'm yelling at Mario because he wants the link, and then he's saying, answer Nick. And
the link, I think you can find that, Mario. I think, do we email
I just sent it to him.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's on the Facebook group. That's awesome.
He's got it.
Marcia, while you're on, let's schedule the dinner before I forget.
Okay.
And the date you sent out before actually worked for me. I don't know about Rob, but either way, I can make that. Okay. Jose, what's up, my man? Let's see. Calendar. All right, calendar.
Halloween.
I said, hey.
Oh, hey.
Nice shirt, by the way. I like that one.
I like this shirt too. I'm a fan. I am a fan. I have Marcia and Mario. I have Tuesday. It's a special day, Jose. Marcia and Mario just finished up our annual mentor session. So we have a dinner, award dinner there on the 4th, September 4th. Does that still work for you both?
Yeah.
Not cool. September 11th, but September 4th does, yeah.
Yes, September 4th.
All right.
I was in your great state, Mario. It was, what was it, 2 weekends ago? I was in your great state, New York. I just went to the city, just checked things out. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely. I love going to Grand Central and just looking up at people and seeing if they run into me.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, in Grand Central, if you look at the person, they'll run into each other. If you look down, they'll move out of your way.
You got nice.
Sometimes I wear my homeless outfit just to see. Yeah, whatever.
Fabulous. Oh, cool. All right. Jose, what are you doing on?
Testimonials. Should we put it on your wall that we went through the program?
Oh, cool. No, well, you know what? Let's we'll talk at the dinner. Let's try to get you guys a couple deals here. Let's try to get it done first. I like results.
We'll get it.
I know you will. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And I feel like I've been married 30 years with Marcia now.
1 year is a long time.
Yes.
You guys were the first two to go through the program as a couple or a partnership. We had never done it before. It was very interesting. It was a good learning experience for me too. So.
Yeah. Challenge, I'm sure.
Well, the nice thing is, once I get the first deal, I'll probably drop on my knee and ask her to marry you based upon the Dealflow fan page.
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
There you go. Would you marry me?
Awesome. There you go. All right, cool. So, Marcia and Mario, if you want to start we're recording. So if you guys want to go through your Dealflow, what you have going on now, which is what you talked about over the call. You have the 60 leads that you're reaching out to per week, phone and text, right?
Yes.
60 leads. And you're also doing drive-bys on the weekends, on Sundays.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it drive-by. New York drive-bys, I don't carry. I'm driving by, yes. Cash for dollars. Cash, right? Cash.
Driving for dollars, yes. Driving for dollars.
There you go. I knew the right term.
DFD, or as we in the fruit business, that's confusing because we have a delicious fruit design with edible arrangements. But we don't talk about edible arrangements anymore.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So technically what it is, Nick, is using your your mailing campaign, part of it. Mm-hmm. If they don't respond after a couple, like the first, second, or third letter, by about the third letter, we go actually physically, Marcia finds out if we have a contact person, name and that. And then physically, I say I have no problem going right to their house and asking them.
Nice.
So that's why we do it. That's what we do for. So in other words, we'll do a mail piece and then we'll pick a certain area. So maybe out of we get 100, but 20 are over this Brockton. So we'll go to Brockton for that day, or Taunton, and then Marcia tells me whether I got to bring my gun or not. So that kind of. Not kidding.
I love it. That's awesome. And what we went over today on our call too, for the recording and for Jose, whoever's listening. So purchase contracts in your car, right? Always keep purchasing in your car. Yep.
And just for the newbies like us, carry, you want to be, when you have an opportunity to meet with a client, or a potential client, have all your documents with you at all times.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Good stuff, man.
And also, other thing, practice and practice. It doesn't matter how many times you do a rehab worksheet that you have or the purchase agreement. Do those two so you get used to it. So when the real deal comes, it's like second nature.
I love that. That's awesome. Just curious, right? So when you go out to these sellers and you knock on their door, what's your opening line?
Hi, I'm not a terrorist. No, what I say to them, I say, hey, I noticed that you might have a situation with your home. We're real estate investors. We like helping people with home ownership challenges, solve their problems. Is there anything we can do for you? And they'll say, something like, well, I'm overwhelmed. I got a notice. Well, let me see the notice. Oh, you know what? We can do this and this and this. We have in our dream team a person who would be perfect for you to contact. May I have your permission to take your number and forward it to him or her? That kind of stuff. Marcia and I would like to take a look at your place and see if we can give you an offer that will, agree with you or something like that. Can we come in? Nah, that's not a good time. All right, so can we schedule time in the next 2 days? Yeah, next Tuesday. And that's if we're talking on Sunday.
Good with farmers, that's true.
That kind of stuff.
If it were me, so it's funny because a long time ago I was door knocking, but I was kind of doing cold door knocking, which you're not really doing cold door knocking because you've already mailed them and either called or texted them first. So it's kind of like if it were me, I'd go to the front door and be like, oh, hey, finally caught you. I was thinking something happened. You didn't respond to my mail. Like just try to break the ice with that. Or I might even do my new favorite, which is the one some of you guys have heard already. I like the, hey, congratulations, you just sold your home. Are you excited? I'm excited. That's it. And then they slam the door.
Okay. That's a good one.
And I say, I was just kidding. But hey, listen, I did drive by. It was curious if you're looking to sell. And I did send you a couple mailers. I did call you a couple times. I'm not a stalker, though, I swear. I'm literally just driving by those, thought you might be interested. And that's what I do. I buy homes.
Well, my opening line is, are you trying to get away from your mother-in-law?
There you go. See, I like that. I like that.
We can help. What? That's wrong? Marcia's, she makes me cry. What? All right, so.
I'm going to put you in a better light.
You don't need more light. You got my big nose. That need to see you. So, oh, my God.
From above.
Oh, well, yeah, God's always shining on me.
Oh, my.
I'm an angel.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, Nick, one of the things I really like that other people listening to this should realize is maximize your efforts. So when you and Rob recommended to put a realistic purchase agreement, have a legitimate figure, that's something I'm a little different than you guys, and you taught me to break that habit of the 90s. So I like that because I think my closing rate will be a lot better.
100%.
If I disagree with Rob.
It's all about being real, right? They want to know you're real and not just and sellers, let's be honest, right? In this market, they're on to wholesalers, right? Like they've heard the Fan Merrill over the radio. They've heard all these people coming to town like, oh, buy real estate, no cash or credit. And a lot of them are students of that. Like they're taking these courses because it's appealing to them. So, they're on it. They want someone who's real that can actually solve their problem. And if you can close, you have a team that can close. That's the whole bottom line, right? My partner will, you want us to do it in 7 days? Well, we got a clear title. And if it's 7, we can totally do it. We're here to help. That's what we're here for. And we'll still cover all those things. I just want to make sure that I can bring a partner in case I can't close in 7 days. So, if you're cool, let me just bring him in, vet everything, check the construction numbers. We'll see if we can get this one done.
Mario, how effective are you when you're door knocking? I mean, how often do you get the door slammed in your face? Are you pretty
I've
good?
never had a door slam in my face. I've always had it where I would say out of 10, 6 of them don't answer the door.
Okay.
So, but the ones that I actually talk to, see, I catch them. See, I'm lucky. I catch them as they're coming in the car to bring in groceries. And I say, can I help you with your groceries? Who are you? I'm a person who would like to buy your house.
I love that. I love it.
And I'll say to them, I've said to the young lady or the elderly lady, I said to her, I guess when you read Mario Finkbeiner, you didn't think that was a real name. I am the real Mario, so that kind of stuff. So whatever breaks the ice, you know what I mean? And Marsha's really nice because she's more motherly.
Yep.
So sometimes we will look at each other and say, this one's you, Marsha, you got to go up. So she'll go up with the cane and, and hi.
That's effective. All right.
Yeah. I'm just here to talk to you about your house. So,
Do they try to usher you out, or are they pretty good about having a conversation with you at that point, though?
Well, I'm not the Britannica salesman where I put my foot in the door. So, no, usually I ask them. I'm pretty good at building reports, so they usually either let us in.
Sure.
I sometimes say, hey, if you're more comfortable, come on out. Let's come on out. I'm not a cop, so I won't arrest you because you have to come out of the property.
That's a good one, yeah.
So sometimes we'll step out on the porch there, or the steps, and then they'll let us in. And I say,
I like to also, when you're first starting that conversation, like, hey, I know this is a long shot. I've sent you a few letters. We're looking to buy properties in the area, something like that. Whatever you want to use to get to that point. Do you have 10 minutes right now? Walk through the house, we'll let you know what we think, what we can offer. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no pressure at all. At least we gave it our best shot. One of those deals. It kind of gives them permission to be totally honest with you. And as opposed to, it puts them at ease. They're more likely to not give you a lot of bullshit at that point.
Yeah. One of the biggest opening lines I like is, why are you selling? People don't ask that question.
Yeah, I like to go kind of along those same lines. This is a great neighborhood. Why are you selling? One of those deals. So it kind of sounds more,
And then oh wow, I have a contact in Florida. If I can get you a person to get you a house down there, would that help?
Yeah, exactly.
And like Nick says, and you say, even on some of the deals, we can't help them.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense, we were not going to make real estate investment income on it, a deal, but we've stopped, between our network we have on our dream team, we have a player who can help them.
Yep.
And 9 out of 10 times they're appreciative of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, good. Yeah. So and as you're collecting that information, it looks like you need a place to go. Because a lot of these people, the biggest issue is not going to be the price. The biggest issue is going to be, I don't have a place to go. My spouse also has to be the one signing off on this, and they don't want to sell. You really need to get, if you can, at least get those out in the open to see what you're up against.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to say things like, well, have you thought about, listing this with an agent? And if they say, oh, no, then that's not really something that you're competing with, right? At that point, if they say, yeah, actually I did think about listing with an agent. Then you can you can deal with that there at that point and kind of talk about why it might be better to sell to you than to list it and go through all the open houses and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, getting, you build rapport, but then using that information and saying, okay, so it sounds like, we usually can close quickly, but you really don't want to close for 90 days, and that's totally fine with us. We can work on your time frame. How about we do XYZ, we close by this date, and we help you move all of your stuff out, and we help you with moving and finding another apartment, something like that. It's always good to use that information in the offer at the end.
9 out of 10 times, my follow-up sheet or information sheet says, what are you looking to spend in your new place?
Yep.
Because that's a segue for a realtor and or a mortgage person to qualify them for a mortgage. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, we follow up. Marsha's good at that,
Right.
Soft
Right.
voice. So that, the one thing I think you really fine-tuned for us today's talk before, we'll have a better ratio closing because we won't have our competition outbidding us because we'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in this market, we come against that a lot as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's the type of thing where if you're going to wholesale it, there's less risk, but you also don't want to be the guy who's getting things under contract and then breaking contracts and that kind of thing as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah, it's kind of a fine balance to that point.
Cool.
Yep.
Mark, you have anything to say? Because I don't want to be the only one talking.
Don't forget Joseph's there too.
But they're asking you and me, so your team, Mark, good. Yin and yang. You can interact.
I'm going to unmute Marcia. Now
No,
she's
no,
live.
I'm good. I'm good.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
You can
cool.
say something. You're not bashful when it comes to me, so you can talk to Robin there.
Oh, well, there was one thing I was going to say. See, I watch him for the car when he goes door to door. I sit in the air conditioning and he's out there in the heat, so that's fine with me. But there's about one or two ladies who wouldn't open it. They would, talk through the screen, which is fine. Mario backs off and gives them plenty of room and doesn't, they trust him that for some reason. He really does a good job.
And my name tag. You always have your name tag so they see it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, and what else, Marcia? Say something nice. Go ahead. My presence.
It
The
was
way I
hard
look.
getting that one out. It was hard finding that one to say.
For
No,
those
I'm
who want
just,
to be couples on real estate investing, it's a challenge.
yeah.
Combat's easier. Throwing it out there.
Well, speaking of, well, actually, that's a good question. Jose, I should know this. You're attached, right?
I'm not active. No, I have 3 combat tours, but I'm not active.
No, I know that exactly. I just met with I think you have a wife. Is it a wife?
Me, I have a girlfriend.
Girlfriend. All right, cool, excellent.
Does she help you with the real estate?
No, not yet.
There you go.
Good.
Keep it that way.
Is she supportive, or does she not really get involved? She has her own thing going on.
No. She's in the process now of getting her real estate license.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Her father was actually the co-founder of the Landlord Association in Boston. So her dad's very involved in real estate.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Very good. Talk to us about your business, Jose. What do you have going on?
Honestly, I've been really focused on education and getting myself ready for when it does correct. I think this is just the pre-stage of what's going to happen, and the people that's going to be the educated and ready are going to take advantage of the market. So for me, I'm going back to school for construction in the fall. I'll be considered a full-time student in the bachelor's program at Wentworth.
Wow. Very cool.
You know, I also joined a new real estate company, which is very investor friendly. So I'm learning a lot from there. Actually, we listed, I did my second open house with them, and I got a condo sold in Medford for $850, 3 bedrooms.
Nice.
So just a lot of that stuff. And I'm closing on a condo that I got from my mailing in September in Charlestown.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And I know Steve and those guys fairly well. It's been a while since I worked with them, but they were legit, right? Last time I checked with them. So they're great. They're good. They're good people. Yeah.
Steve, he has a lot of people in his network, and I'm learning from being around him, around his investors. So it's just a good place to really learn.
Nice.
Especially as you know, sometimes demographically, a place like Somerville, you kind of have to know everyone if you want to get anything done.
I do know that. That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah. Speaking of what, you know what? Maybe that's a good little tidbit. So we've covered a little bit on door knocking. We've covered a little bit on approaching and lead gen. If anybody cares about, we have a project that's been stalled at 21 Anderson in Somerville now for a while. It is due to it started, most of you know how it started. It's a neighbor complaint on pieces of what they thought were asbestos on the outside. So if anybody's interested, as the story goes, we had budgeted for asbestos removal of the siding. The old siding was asbestos on the outside of the house. So we had a budget for it. And, our general knew that they had to bring in the licensed remediator to, take it away in a hot load and dispose of it correctly and all that stuff. So it had just so happened when they took it off, there was still a piece left on the ground after it was already remediated. And the neighbor called it in, and that immediately halts the project because the DEP gets involved, comes out, addresses the site, confirms, yes, there is a piece of this still on site. And that, of course, prompts an entire investigation of the interior and exterior of the home, where they then demand test results or what they call a hygienist or project designer to then do a full test of the entire house inside and out, every room, different places. So the worst part of this is not just going through the phases. The worst part is the stall, and then the incredible amount of time it takes from one step to the next step to the next step to kind of try to get these things done. So I've dealt with this before in a few other projects, but this one in particular, it's not our contact who is the remediator. The remediator was our general's main framer's contact. So we kind of had a disconnect with getting the full updates every single time. They apparently brought out their first designer or hygienist, as they would be called. And there must have been a miscommunication because apparently, and now I'm learning kind of how, not corrupt, but how interesting that field can be when everything you're doing is relying upon this one person's report. A lot of investors or buyers sometimes want those reports to come back hot, what they call hot. So, light the house up, right? Make sure you sway in the direction of there is asbestos in every room, and that'll help this buyer get their offer down to a ridiculously low level. Somehow along the way, the initial hygienist that this general contractor's framer had hired was told to light the house up and essentially turn in a report that said that there were former pipes in there and that there's there's stuff on the floors, and we did 3 test results. The 3 test results came back positive, but the other 5 didn't. So they omitted like the 5 that didn't and just sort of said, there's talk of old pipes and things that were in there before. So that initial design, which I did not see, gets submitted to the DEP for approval. And every single one of these steps between, hiring a hygienist, getting them out to the property, having the hygienist turn around this report back to them, and then having that filed to the DEP, and then having the DEP kind of spend the time to review it and then get back to everybody. It takes probably a week to 2 weeks between every one of those steps. So we're already 2 months behind on that process. DEP sees the report, approves the report before we could even see it. So now there's $25,000 in asbestos remediation that we would have had to do. There is no asbestos in the house, right? There is no asbestos except for that little chip outside and maybe some old caulking on the inside that they found on the report. But we now would have to do room by room and do full remediation of every single room and pay a company to do that, the hygienist to do that. So we learned as of recently, how, the 3 ways of people connected. How dare you, I can't believe you lit that house up. That was, a developer client of ours, and now they're going to be stuck doing all this for other work, and we might have to eat half of this cost. And so there was a fight internally. I stayed quiet this whole time saying, while we're spending 2 and 3 and 4 months delays, you guys need to figure this out. Otherwise, you're paying for the $25,000 remediation. And here we are, where they're at the point where they have a new project designer. The DEP said, "Go. If you're concerned about cost, you need your project designer to revise the plan." So the initial project designer wanted the $25,000 job. So we had to get a new project designer. And now me and the general, I'm making sure, are way more involved on this side to actually do a real report and turn that into the DEP with what is actually potentially asbestos in that home, which are those bathroom floor, the old the old cement, the mastic they would use for the tile. Sometimes it's hot, and that was hot, and some window caulking in one of the areas, and that's it. So 4 months later, that's where we are. And it has to go back to the DEP for their approval. And now, of course, they've taken 2 to 3 weeks to get back to everybody since they don't really have any urgency on as a government agency. And lastly, I guess the only tip I would provide, if anyone does go through an asbestos, I did learn some lessons on this. I always knew to get what's called a manifest from the hygienist, so the person who actually does the asbestos remediation, essentially gives you a report saying this was done. And that's like the manifest report. But there's two other reports I didn't know to get. And when you have an asbestos remediation, it's not just the guy who does the asbestos remediations on the hook. You as the owner are on the hook, and the GC are on the hook for any future claims of any future buyers or future people living in that property, right? So you have to get these 3 documents, not just the one that I was getting called the manifest. You need the disclosure or notification that went along with the DEP for the initial notice to the DEP saying there is asbestos here and here's the notification. Then you need that manifest saying it was done by the hygienist. And you need a third piece of paper from the trucking company that dumps the hot load at the facility that takes the asbestos material. That's called the I feel, oh god, no, it's like oh man, this disclosure manifest, and essentially like delivery receipt. That's essentially what it is. They're saying who the trucking company was, it was delivered at the site that was intended, and now it's done. Once you have those 3 documents, you're covered. And the DEPs can call for them at any point in time. A buyer can call for them at any point in time. And I learned a lot on these, even the residential jobs. I thought that was only for big commercial stuff, but that's my learning experience for the week, especially on those 3 documents that we're trying to get. So I don't know. I don't know if that helps anybody.
Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you know, but I looked on MLS maybe 3 days ago. There's actually a house on the market on that street, 42 Henderson. It's on the market for $550. It's a 2-family, 1,800 square feet. So I saw some buyers that were there, and I go, oh man, wait till they meet the neighbors.
Oh man, I'm trying. That's got to be in terrible shape, right? I hope.
That house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh?
Full gut job.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better. You scared the crap out of me just now.
Oh, no. That house is a gut job.
That's cool. Did you put an offer on it? I didn't even see it. I didn't even know it was on the market.
Offers are due on Friday. I'm going to put one in, but cool. I don't think it's going to go. As you know, there's too many people in the market right now. And it only takes one person to offer 700 or something ridiculous.
Yes. That's true. What do you think that new condos would sell for on that street? I haven't run the ARV. I'm just curious.
Well, that one is so 1,800 square feet. Say each one of them is about 900 square feet. They have them as a 2-bedroom. So I would go with 550, 600.
Nice. Very cool. All right, cool. So there's a little bit of a margin there if it's at list price. So that's good. Cool.
Yeah, but it only takes one guy.
We know who he is. Listen, Jose, you're the only one in a position to keep running smoke certs at his house or something. I don't know what you can do in your position, but I'm sure you can do something.
Well, it's funny.
There's an oil tank in your backyard. You should check that out.
Well, what's funny? Today I'm actually working, and we were checking hydrants, and that was in the district that I was in. So I actually saw the guy. I talked to him. I said, hey, I'm an investor. I might put in an offer. And he's thinking about buying cash, this and that. And once he said cash, I was like, hey, maybe I can find you a house. I was like, I'm going to put this guy on my buyers list.
There it is.
I was like, here's my phone number. Send me an email.
There it is. Monetize every lead, Jose. Absolutely.
So I might not get the house, but I got a new customer.
That is awesome. That is the way to go. Good stuff. What's new in your business recently? So you've been focused on education. So have you kind of slowed down on lead gen? You're kind of more on the agent side?
No, I did not slow down. This is my opinion. Maybe you can tell me more. I feel like when you first start off a mailing campaign, the first one, you're gonna get a lot of results, and then you're gonna get a lot of results between 6 and 7. And in between is you have to go through that. So that's the phase I am now. I'm not getting as many phone call backs. I'm not getting as many contacts, but I think that's just part of building up that market.
I would agree with that. Yeah, for sure. You're doing other touches too, or is it mainly just mailers going out?
Right now it's mailers, and now that it's slowing down, I also have phone numbers, so I can start doing that through Mojo.
Good. And you have Mojo then too. I think it's almost critical, right? So when in 2009, 2010, when I just sort of got my system off the ground for myself, you could function with just mailers, right? Because the collapse had just happened, right? It kicked all these people out of the market. Everybody who just taken a fresh course with, Than Merrill or somebody, they were kicked out because they either got hurt or they got hurt personally in through their own economic issues. And you could do 7 mailers and that's it, Now there is so much competition right now that everyone's kind of doing mailers. They're the easiest things to do. So we like to pepper in. You kind of almost need voicemails or text messages and phone calls. I love what Mario's doing too. Now, is that economical for the big scale investors with tons and tons of leads per week? It's not. But I love that he mails and then he'll call and then they'll text and then he just picks a town once in a while and just shows up and starts knocking on the same doors. It's I talk about touches. Like that's 4 touches plus his continued mailers to them. Is that not many people can do all of those things at once, but I would say if you have the time to jump on that phone, Jose, that's going to be helpful in your conversion,
Yeah. Well, I'm also too, this is something that you guys might not agree with or might. I'm also looking in the inside of my business more so now too, as in like, taking care of my own rentals. I'm going to rehab one of my own rentals. I'm currently getting about $2,500, and once the rehab is done, it'll be getting about $3,500 for that unit. So I'm doing things like that, staying active, doing things like loan pay down, just things to put me in a position that I will be able to capitalize when the market does correct. And if it doesn't, and a great deal comes up through my marketing, I'll be ready to jump on it. I just don't want to be that investor that wants a deal just to get a deal. I had a property that I use off the tax list in Medford, and somebody called me back, and she's like, "I've been late for the last year. I need to get my husband to sign off. Can you come and look at this property?" And I gave her a reasonable price. I did. I used our checklist of how much it's going to cost for the rehab, how much it's going to cost. What is the ARV on the property and everything. And then she called me like a day later. She's like, another investor offered me a lot more. And I said, congratulations. I'm not giving you more money. I'm just going to wait for the next phone call, the next deal, or make that phone call and get another lead.
Nailed it. On to the next. You got it. Right? It's all the numbers game. That's what it's funny. Marcia and Mario kind of went through this too, right? We all go through it. It's our first big deal, right? Our first big lead comes in, and we want to convert. We need to convert this, especially if it's after months and months of marketing, right? Setting up the system, and we finally got this lead in. So we spend so much time analyzing and trying to convert or talk to the seller and convert that lead that we start faltering on all the other leads, all of our systems to start getting more of these in. If we have, 3 and 4 coming in on a weekly basis or a daily basis, 1 lead to you is not that much. Do you want to still monetize? Sure. Monetize any way you possibly can. But it's always good. Everything's practice, right? One after the next, after the next, after the next, coming in hot.
I agree. And, another thing that I'm working on, I talked to you briefly about it, Nick, is just, getting my brand out there and, come, August 22nd, I'll be the guest speaker at one of the RIAs in Somerville. So that'll be my first one speaking at a RIA like that.
Yes.
And it just really takes practice, and I know I'm ready for it. I'm going to do awesome. But I think it's just a next step of becoming more of an investor, or more seasoned investor, I should say.
100%. When can I ask when and where? Are we invited?
Of course. It's the one that we have in Somerville. I'll send you the information. It's at Lucky Strikes in Assembly Square.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even know about that one. It just popped up in my meetup the other day. That's a new one for me.
We only been doing that one for maybe about 6 months. It hasn't been long. They started.
Are you one of the sponsors now, or the organizers?
No, I am not one of the organizers. It was at the time, I think I was telling you, I wanted to make up my own group, because the one in Medford is just all they do is rehab tours in different cities. And I really liked having it in Medford, and I was thinking about doing it. And then they just started their own, and they did it at Tony C's for a while, and now they've been going to Lucky Strikes and now they bounce back and forth. But it's literally like across the street from my house, so it
That's
works
awesome.
out great.
What's the date? Let's put it out there right now.
It's August 22nd.
August 22nd, and what time?
I believe it's at 6:30.
All right, August 22nd, 6:30. For those of you listening, I'm going to put it in the calendar. If I can make it, I'm absolutely going to be there. So Jose is speaking, and that's at Lucky Strikes, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool, man. Excellent. I love that. That's the whole. Hey, listen, if any of you guys ever get a speaking gig, that's the hard point. Like, let's do it. I want to see you guys do it. That's awesome.
Well, I just feel that, I get value just from being able to get comfortable in that position, because more of them are going to come and more people are going to ask me to speak. But also too, I have a lot of time that I've been in the real estate business now that, I have a lot of value to give. One thing that I'm talking about that day is house hacking. And this is my third house hack. My first house in Somerville, I bought it with literally $3,000 down on a house that cost $450. And then my second house hack, I use the VA loan. And my third house hack is the condo I'm buying in Charlestown at a discounted price from one of my mailers. And the bank is gonna let me use a portfolio loan and put down 5% on it.
Nice. Very, very cool. That's awesome. Jose too, and this goes for you too, Marcia and Mario. Maybe we should set a time for when we might be able to tape one of the. If you guys are interested in doing the podcast, the Shut Up and Do It podcast.
Oh, definitely.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be great. We'd love to probably have you. We'd love to have you guys on it. I'm checking.
Marcia said she definitely wants to.
No.
She wants to do that. All right, cool.
No, Mario does.
Yeah. Well, some of them work, some of them don't. We'll have to see how that plays out here. I'm looking at my calendar to try to figure out what's happening. Okay, so I've got the speaking engagement with Jose here. Since we do only have a few minutes left, if you guys we had a great meetup in Lowell. It was this past Monday evening. We do, for those of you who are watching this online, we do typically a meetup at one of our rehabs every single month or so. We have rehabs going in different cities. Our next one, Rob, I'm trying to find this in the calendar.
Yep.
It's a 6-unit building. We're going to do a little different. It's going to be in Manchester, New Hampshire. So it's a 45-minute drive if you're from the Burlington, Woburn area.
I believe it's the 25th. No?
August 25th.
No, September, right?
September 25th. Got
It's
it.
not in here, though.
No, it's not in there. So good.
That's what we said, though.
If that was it, or the 24th, I think there's a Black Diamond that night, but that's okay.
It's not the 24th, no. It wasn't on Monday.
All right. We'll put the time on the Facebook group, so please be sure to check in on Complete Dealflow System Facebook page. We'll have the meetup posted there. Jared does all of our postings for us, but if anyone wants to come and check it out, that'll be good. We've done single families and 2 and 3 families up till now. This is a good 6-unit building. It was a fire damaged burnout that we were able to take over. It was a bunch of follow-up. We had one of our people were following up with the seller. It turns out we actually got it. It was a wholesale deal. Another investor that we knew got it and wholesaled it to us. So whoever had the better closing ratio, this guy won. So it was good. He was able to get it done and closed, and then we took it from there. But that's going to be pretty interesting. And we also have our next, Success Line. Success Line is this coming Monday night. If you're part of the Complete Dealflow system, that's at 6 p.m. on August 20th, this Monday. And we have our next podcast coming out next Thursday at 2 p.m. And then following that, the Thursday after will be another one of these Zoom Q&A meetings. I'm trying to think if there's any other events or speaking engagements we have coming up. I don't think so, right?
New Hampshire and New England, Rhea, in is it October?
Yeah, that's in October. So, but we'll be sure to plug all that stuff. And for any of you who are interested, we'd love to see you at any of our events. We love to network. It's all about doing more deals together and creating efficiencies. So if we could see you guys there, that would be awesome. Does anyone else? We've got about a minute. Anyone else want to plug anything or bring anything else up? Everyone's muted. Jose? Are you good, man?
I'm fine.
You're good?
Good.
All right, guys, cool. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Nick and Rob. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.